So you're interested in making a lot of money, but you don't know which way to turn. And ultimately, you're looking for something maybe that can be a career. But maybe you're a young person, maybe you're middle aged, maybe you're a retiree, and you need to make some money, but you don't have a college degree. Well, this is an industry that doesn't require a college degree. And you can do it if you're 75 years old. Now, what are the requirements? As a retiree, you have to be able to bend down and look at certain things as an inspection and be able to get back up without help or without a cane. If you can't do that, this is not the job for you. As a young person, as long as you have a GED or a high school diploma, you qualify. However, let me say to my young people, you have to dress for success for your interview. You have to look the part. Because typically what people are doing now is they're doing their interviews, their pre-interview on Zoom. And then when they get their top 4 or 5 candidates, then they call you in for the interview. So I want to make sure that we're clear. You have to dress for success on Zoom, and don't take any shortcuts. Because if I'm interviewing you, I'm going to say to you, Mr. or Ms. candidate, could you stand up please so I can see what you're wearing? Meaning, I want to see if you have belt loops on your pants, that you have a belt. Or if you're sagging, and young people, you know what I'm talking about, I'm not hiring you. Ladies, if you have a beautiful blouse on and you are wearing pants and you too have belt loops on your pants and no belt, I've got a problem with that. And so what I'm trying to teach my young people, because what I'm noticing with young people is they've not been trained for success in a job interview. Men, you should wear a tie, preferably a white shirt. You can wear different colors once you get the job. But before you get the job, wear a fresh, pressed white shirt with a yellow or red or blue tie. Plain. Maybe a little design, but that's it. Ladies, make sure that your hair is coiffed nicely, whether it's in a natural style, whether it's in another type of style, or if you're wigging it, whatever. Make sure you look presentable because you want to get the job, okay? So I just wanted to be clear about that. Now, what I'm going to be teaching you in this industry I'm going to share with you is what you have to do to get the job, what you have to do to keep the job, but then what you have to do to become super successful. This is a $100,000 a year job. If you do it right, your second year, if not your first year, you'll be at 150 to 175. By your 5th year, you're at 250 easy. If you do what I tell you, and I'm going to take you, I'm going to hold your hand, and I'm going to show you this industry so that you'll have all of the information ahead of time. Now, this is a job sector that they will train you. I'm going to pre-train you so that when you literally get in the training, you already know it. You're just basically getting the specifics. But you will laugh, and everybody, you can call me Uncle David. You will laugh and you will say, Uncle David hooked me up. Yes, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to make sure that you are prepared for a successful career. This job is a career. Let me ask a question. Those of you who are in customer service, and before I say that, let me just say this to you. Sidebar. Young people, your older competition, anybody that's over 50, has got a pen and paper right now. And they're smiling as I'm saying this. They're taking notes. Young people, I know you're saying, well, I'm going to watch the video 3 or 4 times. I get that. The old folks are going to watch the video 3 or 4 times too. But they also got a pen and paper and they're writing notes as I speak. because they understand statistically it is known that scientifically, if you take notes with a pen and paper, you will retain the information better than if you just watch the video. Just suggesting to you, because your competition is going to be those older people. Word to the wise. Okay, I can't say I didn't tell you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to dazzle the person interviewing you. Now, not many people use that word dazzle. I'm going to make it so that the person interviewing you, because remember, anybody from HR, when they do a pre-interview, it's repetitive. They're doing the same thing over and over and over. They need somebody that's going to make them look up from their piece of paper that they're reading the information to you and say to you, what did you say? Repeat that? That's what they're going to do when they talk to you. And then you're going to take over the interview from them. Imagine that. That's how you'll be successful. Now, we're getting ready to go through job layoffs here in America. And you're going to have a lot of people looking for jobs. You're going to have this many people looking for this many jobs. This many people looking for this many jobs going that way. I want you to go this way and create your own job. Now you might say, well, how am I going to do that? I'm going to show you. So, as I said, this job does not require a college degree. A GED, high school diploma is just fine. And your first year, you will make 100K. Now, most of you are making 30K, right? So let's just look at it. This amount of people are making 30K. This amount of people making 40K. This amount of people making 50K. 60K, 70K. You want to make 100K. So I need you to listen to what I'm going to say, because I'm going to give you gold. But ultimately, you have to listen to it to the letter to be successful. Now, everybody's looking for that safe check. Those jobs don't exist anymore. And many of you are working in customer service. Okay, or maybe you're working in the mailroom, or maybe you're working in reception or security, okay? But ultimately, that's not a safe check. You're going to be replaced because of AI. That's just a given. So this industry can't be replaced by AI. So what I need you to do is get the safe check out of your head. So for those of you who are in customer service, basically in customer service, they may be asking you over the phone to offer to their client base certain things, right? You're selling. But the difference is you have a supervisor or manager who's watching and listening to what you're doing, and you're not getting compensated for the sale. And or if you are, you're getting this much compensation. So if that's the case, why not just go into sales? Now, some of you are going to say, oh, sales, I don't want anything to do with it. That's where the money is. If you're making 30, the average person in sales is making 120, 4 times what you make, 120K. That's the big secret. Now, I'm going to be blunt. Black people, my people, safe checks don't exist anymore. Safe checks, last hired, first fired. So let's get out of that and let's listen to the information, because listening to the information is not going to hurt you. If it was something physical that was going to hurt you, I could understand you saying, oh, I'm done, I'm out. I would be out too. Listen to the information, listen to what I'm giving you, because this is going to change your life, I assure you. Okay, so when you are doing customer service and you're trying to get your customer to take whatever your company's telling them to offer them, you're really telling them a story. Let me give you an example. When I would walk into somebody's house, now they've called me for A, B, or C. But when I walk in their house, and I was doing this in New Jersey, So as you know, we have 4 seasons in New Jersey. Typically in the wintertime, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, because typically I'm normally meeting with the wife during the daytime, I would say, is it warmer on your first floor than it is on your second floor? And the wife typically would say, yeah. Automatically, that's a sale. Now you're probably saying, how? What's happening is heat rises. So if the heat on the first floor is warmer than it is on the second floor, that basically means the heat on the second floor is going out the roof because there's no insulation. So ultimately they need insulation. They either need blow-in or fiberglass, either or they need insulation. So what I then do is I say, ma'am, is it okay? May I look at your attic? Sure, go ahead, because it's a free inspection. So they'll let you look at whatever you want to look at. You can look at the basement, you can look at the roof, whatever. They don't care. So you go up in the attic, and you basically, you don't even have to go all the way up in the attic. You just go up enough, and you go like this. They've got 3 inches worth of insulation, if. So you automatically know, okay, they need 18 inches, 15 inches, 12 inches, whatever, of insulation. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, depending upon how big the house is. That's the first thing. Then you go back downstairs and you explain to the lady of the house the reason why they're having a problem with heat. Now, it's either electric heat, gas heat, or oil heat, but the bill is through the roof. And so you can assume what it's going to be. Guaranteed, they're probably in the winter months running $500, $600. They would like to decrease that, especially if they're going to be living there for years. Anyway, and they also want to be comfortable. Now, how do I know this? Well, I bought a summer house that I like to stay in the winter, and it was cold, didn't have any insulation. So that story made me realize, oh, I can use that story to help sell insulation. Everything is a story, okay? Now, when we as a people, black people, sell, or rather tell a story, we tell the story where we're moving our whole body. Anybody watching from a distance sees everybody around you laughing. They even start to smile because we're rhythmic people. We just laugh and we tell a story with our whole body. That's just who we are. Well, when you're selling a product, you're in essence doing the same thing. Not as much rhythm, not as much action, but what happens is the customer feels comfortable with you. And at some point they're like, yeah, I like it. Or, sign me up. Or they'll say, ooh, tell me more. When somebody says, tell me more, that means they want it. They just need another reason. You give them another reason because you've got at least 3 or 4 reasons why they need it. You give them another reason. So for instance, with the heat situation, are you comfortable or do you have to continually turn up the heat? No, I'm not really comfortable. That's one reason. Is your bill high? My bill is through the roof. That's a second reason. That's a pain point right there. At night, do you feel cold? Yes. So I've got you right there. If I can solve those 3 problems, would you like to have some insulation put in? Absolutely. Easy. Now, what did you call me here for? You already got that sale. Well, I actually called you because we're getting mice coming into the house. Oh, you need an exclusion. I'll give you a discount. Typically, for your size house, it's $2,400. I'll do it for $1,800. $600 reduction. You know something? We need it. I'll take it. I just got 2 sales, 2 tickets out of that 1 sale. So this is how you have to think. Now, ultimately, what is an exclusion? An exclusion is when you have holes in your house. And why do you have holes in your house? Because maybe you've got your shrubs up against your house. Maybe you have, you don't have a 1 foot or 2 foot walkway between the foundation of your house and the shrubs, which basically means that animals, vermin, mice, rats, whatever, raccoons, squirrels, can hide behind there, and holes in your foundation gives them access to your home. Now let me share this with you. Mice only need the size of your index finger, the size of a dime, to get into your home. Why is that? Because they don't have a backbone, they don't have a spine. So in essence, they can wiggle their little bodies and then they're inside your home. And God forbid it was a mom that was pregnant, because now you got the whole family. And you come downstairs one night to maybe get something to eat, a snack or some water, and you turn on the light, guess who came to dinner? Not who you expected. So that's where an exclusion comes in, but I'll explain more on that later. Anyway, as I was saying, sales is easy. It's really so much easier than working for somebody 8 hours a day watching everything that you do. Why is it easier? Because you're your own boss. Yeah, you have a sales manager, but they're not riding with you. They're not paying attention to what you're doing. And quite frankly, if you're making numbers, if you're making sales like I'm going to show you, they're not paying you any mind, because you make them money. You make them look good. So why would they bother you? They won't. Whereas you're in a job that you don't like with somebody who's constantly watching you and probably harassing you to do more. And it's like a constant hamster wheel. At some point, you're like, I can't do this anymore. You're right, you can't. Now, sales is easy, but let me give you a few stories, okay? And again, everything in sales is a story. So I'm going to tell you what happened with me. So, a little bit about me. I retired in 2002 at age 45. So to save you from doing the numbers, I'm 68, okay? However, because I retired at age 45 and I didn't do anything else other than run my own other businesses, my own personal businesses, which basically I had several real estate properties that I owned, which also allowed me to retire. I accumulated them while I was working as a stockbroker at the banks, and several other businesses as well. But ultimately, what I'm getting ready to share with you is information on this particular industry, but I'm also going to share with you, when you start getting your paycheck, how to invest that money. And you will notice in the bottom a link to my bio, which is one. Two, I also have a company called tradingisnothard.com, which I show you the basics, the ABCs of stock trading and how to chart. And so you'll see that link. You'll also see you'll see a link for some advertisers. I hope you will support them. That being said, getting back to the story. So typically what happened for me was, having retired in 2002, I could put running my businesses on autopilot. But what I noticed was I wasn't as quick and as sharp, because I could do numbers in my head where people would say to me, how did you do that? I was just used to doing that. But by 2015, I just noticed that I wasn't as fast. So my best friend suggested I go back to work. I was like, don't want to go back to corporate America. Thank you very much. And by 2017, I was like, you know something? I think I'm gonna have to go back to corporate America. But I don't want to go back into the industry of the stockbroker, because I hated that, in terms of they give you a haircut every year and increase your goals. I said, I don't want that. I want to do something totally different. So he said, well, why don't you come over to this industry? And I was like, and he was like, it's totally different. And I was like, you know something? Why not? I'll try it. So that's what I did in 2017. So I'm telling you what I did in this industry. So I know it, and I was very successful. Always sell quality. Always be honest. Never, ever sell a gimmick product. And never, ever work for a gimmick organization. If a company has 10 different menu items and you don't like 2 of them, you sell the 8. But if a company has 10 menu items and 8 of them are bad, don't work for that company. Go to somebody else. Now in this industry, that will definitely not be the case, because everything is based on what a homeowner is going to need. And homeowners spend money, Okay? So, as I've said, you don't want a safe check. You want a money check. A money check is in sales. I'm going to give you the cheat code from A to Z. Believe me, I'm going to train you, and you're not paying me for this. I'm going to train you like I wish somebody had trained me. More on that later. Anyway, so what you're doing is you're solving a problem for a customer, and you're solving a problem that they don't even know they need. So in this particular industry, they do exclusions, they do blow-in installation, they do fiberglass installations, they do encapsulations and ATMOX systems, they do wildlife removal. So let me just pause there. If anybody knows what industry I'm speaking about, put it in the comments. I'm curious to see at this point if you figured it out yet. Some of you will, some of you probably still don't know. That's fine. However, let's go with the first topic, exclusions. And let me remind my young people, the old folks, they have written that down and they're going to look it up. I suggest you do the same thing too. But anyway, an exclusion basically means that you've had vermin coming into your house. And so in this industry, we would have to come out to your house, we would have to seal your front door, we'd have to seal your back door, and we would have to seal your garage doors. In addition to plug the holes around the foundation of your house, because that's how the mice are getting in, or whatever's getting in. And what then occurs is we give you a guarantee. Now, some companies will do a 3 months, some will do a 6 months, some will do a 1 year. It depends. And so let's go with the 1 year guarantee, just for the sake of this example. So, and let's also go with a cost of $2,000, just to keep it easy. So when I go and I do my inspection and I tell them, okay, it's going to be $2,000, I'd like to make sure that the husband and wife are there for 2 reasons. Men are very basic. Women are going to look at the big picture. Men are just going to be very straightforward and direct. Myopic vision, tunnel vision. Women are like, well, wait a minute. They're going to ask questions A, B, C, D. I love it because that means I'm going to get more money. Now let me explain. So with the men, how much is it? 1 year guarantee, $2,000? Okay. But then I say, so let me just be very clear, sir. If next year you don't renew it, which is $150, and 3 months later the problem comes back, you got to pay another $2,000. Or you can pay the $2,000 for the first year plus $150 renewal right now for the second year, and you got 2 years of coverage. And the wife immediately says, that's what we're going to do, hun. And I say, of course, but I'm going to still give you another option. So then I ask the question, how long are you guys planning on staying in this house? Oh, we're going to be here for at least another 10, 15 years. And then I say, in front of the wife, so if you're going to be here for another 10 years, if I could give you coverage for those 10 years and decrease the renewal fee from $150 down to $100, basically meaning from year 2 to year 10, 9 years, times 100 is $900 plus the original $2,000. So now it's $2,900 for 10 years worth of coverage. The wife immediately chimes in and says, wait, all I have to do is call you for 10 years and you come and take care of it for 10 whole years? Yes, ma'am. Husband, we're going to take that. $2,900. So I just went from a $2,000 sale to a $2,900 sale. That's like a 45% increase. That's how you go from doing $100,000 worth of business to $145,000 worth of business. So I did that with just one customer, increased by 45%. Now, that's not what they called me for. Maybe they called me for something else. So I get that too. What I'm showing you is how to be a super salesman, not just a salesman, not just 100K and be satisfied with that. No, be satisfied with making as much as you can. But you're helping your customer. You're not cheating them. You're not getting over on them. You're actually doing them a favor by giving them 10 years. Because with that 10 years, they get to sleep and not have to worry. And if there's ever a problem, they call. They're not basically, now let me explain. They may call me directly because I'm going to share with you something else that I do. You give them your company phone number because you get a company phone where you call all of your clients, and you put their name and their phone number in your phone immediately, and then you turn to them and you say to them, now put my number and my name in your phone. But then you say to them, but I'm going to give you my personal number. Why do you do that? Because ultimately, they are your customer too. If you leave the company, your book of business goes with you. All right, now I gave you two things. Okay, so you want to do that, trust me. All right, so let's get back to the story. So we gave you the exclusion, and so let's talk about the industry. What industry is it? Let me look and see what you guys have put in the comments. Okay, so for those that don't know, it's the pest industry. So roaches, mice, rats. Yeah, the pest industry also does encapsulations, exclusions, insulation, pest control, mosquito control, bed bugs, moisture control, commercial services. Let's talk about commercial services for a minute so we can laugh together. So we all see these new apartment complexes going up. The roaches was there before they knocked down what was there beforehand. You think they're not coming back? The rats and the mice, you think just because you leveled a property and you built a new property, they're not coming back? Oh, they're coming back with a vengeance. Because they're like, oh, new blood, new property. Let's see if we can get in here and keep warm. Let's see if there's some food in here for us. So just because a company has commercial services division doesn't mean that you can't also do commercial. So what I would do, and let me just explain. A residential house, pest services, is $300 to $700 depending upon the size of the house per year. So ultimately, if I then have a 500 complex building and I approach the manager of the building and I say, I'll do each unit for $70, $75. Not 300, 70 or 75 for 500 units. So you're looking at about $35,000 to $38,000. Not bad for a ticket. Okay, but then you get to come back. And you're saying, well, how do you get to come back? Because in the summertime, what does everybody get? Mosquitoes. Nobody wants to deal with that. So I can now charge $35 per unit. Not bad. That's how you come back to the well. And how much does that end up costing? Oh, about $16,000. Okay, so between the two tickets, you got over $50,000 worth of business. Not bad. That's how you make money. And then, of course, you say to him, him or her who's managing that property, do you have any other properties? And I'll even give you a better deal. I'll go down to $65 per unit. Easy layup. Easy layup. And remember, you don't do the work, the technician does the work. You're just doing the sales. So let me also be very clear. You don't do any work. You don't get dirty. As a matter of fact, they offer you different color shirts. I always wear white. And on Sundays, I used to iron my shirts myself and crease the sleeves so that when I came to your house, the first thing that you noticed was that I was, as we would say, casket sharp. Okay? I came ready so that when you looked at me, you were impressed. Shoes were shined. I was ready to make some money. I'm there because I'm serious. Take the business seriously. It's your business. Even though you're working for somebody, it's really your business. You just don't realize it because it's your book of business. All right. Anyway, so Now that you know that we're talking about the pest industry, there's a process. And what you'll do is you will chat GBT or you will Google who are the top 25 companies in your zip code area. And then you'll get a list of those companies. Then you want to go to their website and you want to see if they offer certain services. You click on the services and you see what they offer. And then you're going to compare each company's. Now, in subsequent videos, I am going to literally do it with you to show you how to do it. So for my seniors who aren't familiar with ChatGPT, as the young ones say, I got you. Don't you guys laugh at my seniors. And for you young folks, you should get ahead and start doing it ahead of time, okay? Now, once you get that list of potential companies to interview with, you have to have something to offer them. And this is where I will train you for that interview. So remember, most companies are going to train you, but if there's 10 people coming after 1 or 2 jobs, you have to be the person that they hire. How does that occur? How do they want you as opposed to the other people? They want you because of what I'm going to do in subsequent videos, which I'm going to break down. What is blow-in insulation? What is fiberglass insulation? What is gutter guards? What is encapsulation or an ATMOX system? What is wildlife removal? What is rodent prevention? Mosquito control, termite control, moisture control, pest control, commercial services. I'm going to go over every single issue so that you are well versed. How am I going to do that? And how am I going to make sure that you retain it? Because you are going to basically get a stack of index cards. Okay? And basically, on the front of the index card, you will write exclusion. On the back of the index card, you will have what it is. Now, what is a dictionary version of an exclusion and what is on the company's website of an exclusion may be 2 different things. So we want to marry the 2 because you don't want to sound like the company's website, because you may be speaking to different companies trying to get a job, and they will automatically know if you read it off of their website. So it has to be somewhat different. So I'm going to show you how to reconfigure the definition, if that makes sense, okay? For each industry, so whether it's blow-in installation, whether it's fiberglass installation, we're gonna literally do it and reconfigure it. And here's the kicker. So you're interviewing, and in the interview process, you're gonna take over the interview, and how you're taking over the interview is you're asking a simple question. Do you offer exclusions? Now you already know what they offer. Do you offer exclusions? Do you offer blow-in installation? Do you offer fiberglass installation? Do you offer encapsulation? Now, some of them you will know that they don't, excuse me, but you're gonna ask the question anyway, because that's gonna put them on the negative, like, ooh, this guy's asking us if we sell a product that we don't sell, and I really like this guy or this gal. I really wanna hire them, but because we don't offer this other product, they may go to my competitor. And so they may say something like, well, we're looking into bringing that on board, which is probably a lie. But then maybe it is true, but probably a lie. But they're going to say that because they want to get you as a candidate. And you want them to want you, right? But what you've just done is you've just taken over the interview. That's what I mean by taking over the interview. And now you're going to dazzle them, because now you're going to bump it up to the next level. And you're going to say, do you have commercial services? Oh, okay, you do. Now, just out of curiosity, as a retail salesperson, am I able to sell a commercial service to a commercial business? And then they have to sit back and say, ooh, this guy or gal knows the game. Yes, you can. Oh, perfect, fantastic. Tell me more. And these are the ways that you are basically making it clear to the person that's interviewing you, who has basically already done this 100 times today, finally had somebody that they can have a conversation with, and who's making it easy for them because you're asking questions that normally they don't get So they're happy to have a conversation with you, and they're enjoying it. And they may take it a step further, and they may say, you know something? Let me get the sales manager on the phone in on this conversation. Bam! Because now you got to go back and do it all over again. And that's fine. And so when the sales manager comes on, even though you asked the question of the initial HR interviewer, do you offer exclusions? You're saying to the sales manager, so it's my understanding that you do offer exclusions. My question for you is, do you offer a 1-year guarantee, or are you offering a 3-month or 6-month guarantee? That sales manager is going to be like, have you been in the industry before? And because you're going to get asked that question, so be prepared for it. This is your answer. You say, actually, no. But my Uncle David worked in the industry, that's me, and he picked me up after school. And so I would ride with him, and needless to say, after, a year of riding with him, I kind of picked it up and knew what everything was. And then, if he made a sale, he would jump in the car and be excited that he made a sale. And I would ask him about it. So he explained it to me, and he would show me, and he wouldn't leave me in the car, even though he wasn't supposed to do this. He ain't tell his boss, but he would take me in the people's house when he was making a sale, because he had to make sure he kept an eye on me. He wasn't going to leave me in the car. And so I learned. And he actually used to let me sometimes talk to the people and sell them myself. Now, needless to say, the person who's interviewing you and the sales manager is going to say, are you serious? And you say, yeah. And then they're going to say, well, how did you remember all of that? And you were only like 9 or 10 years old. And then you say, well, I got a house and I remembered. That's how I had to do it to my own house. End of story. And so they're like, okay, well, we have a training program that we'll put you through, and we're starting next month on such and such a date. Bingo, you got the job. It's as easy as that. You've created your own job. And that's why I'm saying, when the herd is going that way, you go this way. Get creative. So we've done that. And so if you found the information I've shared thus far, I need you to do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe, because believe me, what I just gave you is just a snippet of what you're getting ready to get. We're getting ready to go like this, and it's going to be an explosion of information. I'm going to make sure that you are totally prepared. That's my goal. I want to basically have 10, 20, 50, 100 of you come back and say, I got a job in Arizona. I got a job in New Jersey. I got a job in upstate New York. I got a job in Rhode Island. I want to hear this, and I want you to be able to come back and tell me, this is what happened in my interview. I will answer your question. If you're in an interview and you went through the interview process and you had a problem, you put it in the chat. We want everybody to see it so that we can help everybody get a job. That's a good career job. Remember, this is a career. So you will get a 401k, you will get medical, and let me be very clear, very clear. You invest in that 401k. There's no question about that. The maximum is 15%. You do the 15%, because whose retirement is it? It's yours. It's not the company's. I've had so many people say, oh, well, they're only going to match 3%, so I did 3%. So that means you have a total of 6% going into your retirement for when you retire. So that when you hit 59 and a half or 60, whenever you want to retire, and you've only got a 6% retirement versus you could have had a 15% retirement, which is almost 3 times more, whose fault was that? Yours. Because you decided to be cheap on your retirement. And most people don't realize that they needed to save for retirement until they hit age 40. When things don't work the way they used to, meaning physically, your body, don't be that fool. You should start immediately in your 20s. As a matter of fact, most parents should start some type of a retirement fund for their children in their teen years. But that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to get into that. But I just want to make it very clear to you. When you land that job, I think there's probably like a 90-day probation. On that 90th day, you are in HR saying, I want to start a 401k, period. If they offer insurance, you probably want to invest in that too if you have a family. Because if something happens to you, you want to make sure that your family's covered. More on that later. We'll cover that later. But I just needed to say that to you because too many people wait until they're age 40 to invest. And they shouldn't do that. Anyway, so having said that, the entire menu, and I'm going to repeat that menu again: blow-in insulation, fiberglass installation, encapsulation, exclusions, wildlife removal. Let me explain about the wildlife removal. So you've got a raccoon or a raccoon family in your attic, and what caused them to get in there was your gutters, because ultimately you didn't clean out your gutters. What then happens is you have to call wildlife removal, which is basically us. The city's not going to do it for you, and you can't kill them. You have to put in what is called a one-way tunnel. Typically, it's going to be like $1,500 to $2,500. Now, what happens is they go into the one-way tunnel, they can't come back. We then have to come and take that tunnel and take it out to the forest and let them run free. But then you have the whole family. So we got to come back. When we take one tunnel out, we got to put another one in to catch the rest. And we have to do it one at a time. So needless to say, that costs money. And that's a nice ticket. So that's wildlife removal, or as we like to call it, that one-way tunnel. Rodent prevention. That's going to basically come under exclusions. Mosquito control, I've already mentioned that. Termite control. Termites, big problem depending upon where you are in the country. But that can be costly. That can be anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. Nice ticket. Moisture control is basically your ATMOC system. Gutter guards. Very, very costly. But by the same token, a necessary item. And typically how I sell it is I will say to the mother, or rather the wife, we don't want your husband up on a ladder because he's the breadwinner, I assume. Yeah. So if he falls, what happens? Don't let him go up on a ladder. Get gutter guards. You don't ever want him up on a ladder ever again, and then you'll never have that problem. What do you think the wife is going to say? Honey, we're getting gutter guards. Quick sale. Okay? Everything here that I've shared with you, you will see when you pull up to their house. Before you even go in, you can see if the gutters are hanging from the weight of rainwater or leaves or dirt. You can see it from the street. Or you can have binoculars in the car and you put your binoculars up and you look. And you start looking at the shrubs and how far are they from the house. You already know before you walk in there what their issues are, and they don't even know. That's why I love the business, and you will love it too. All right, so now let's talk about making money. So you're in somebody's house, and let's do this example of the exclusion. So I've just sold Mr. Smith $2,900 on exclusion for 10 years. And then I say to him, Mr. Smith, your neighbor on that side, what's his name? Oh, his name is Mr. Jones. So do you know if Mr. Jones has the same problem? And of course they're going to say, actually, the wife says, actually, I'm close friends with Mrs. Jones, and yeah, they have the same problem, and so does my neighbor on the other side. I'm just the first one to do something about it. Do me a favor, call Mrs. Jones up, have her come over if she's available. Bingo, another sale, 10 years, another $2,900. You know something? We don't want your neighbor over here not to be covered, because then they're going to be trying to come, his mice are going to be trying to come over here. So we need to, let's talk to him too. And so she gets him, another sale, $2,900, 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. So basically, how much did I get? $8,000 and change worth of sales, just from that alone. But then what I do, when I leave their homes, I walk the whole block on both sides and I do what is called cloverleaf. What is cloverleaf? Cloverleaf is when you hang a door hanger. A door hanger is basically an informational pamphlet that talks about our services with my business card. Now, what's huge about that, and I forgot to mention, the two neighbors on both sides of Mr. Smith, that's new money. They're not customers of my company, so they have to pay me a higher payout. Then if somebody on the block from the cloverleaf calls me, that's new money. Typically you get paid 10% more. So that's how you increase your sales numbers. It's easy. But now I'm gonna give you an extra one. You hire, before I give you that, let me explain. What I would do is I would say to my sales manager, can I have a printout of all of the customers who only have pest service with us? Now, why am I asking for that? Because pest service is the cheapest service we have. But there's an opportunity for me to sell them blow-in installation, fiberglass installation, gutter guards, encapsulation, exclusions, wildlife removal, rodent prevention, the whole menu. There's something in there that one of them they're gonna need one of them, right? So I ask for a printout of those customers with their phone number and their address. Then I hire a 70-plus-year-old female who you can tell is an older woman. Why? Because when she makes that customer service call that everybody just hangs up the phone, a man is not going to hang up on grandma. And a woman is going to listen to grandma. And all grandma says is, hi, my name is grandma. And the reason for my call is we're offering your annual free inspection. And all we need to know is what's better for you, morning or evening. And if that doesn't work for you, we can do the weekends as well. I just need to know what's better for you. And of course, when grandma says that, they give grandma the appointment. And then I go and do my house inspection. Of course, they may not need anything. Great, good for them. But what if they need something? I just got a sale. So that's what I use grandma for. And I have her come twice a month, pay her $50 each time she makes calls, fills up my appointment book. But then I hire some young kids, teenagers, 13, 14 years old. And basically I drive them, meet with their parents, drive them and say, doing this zip code, I want you to do these 5 blocks or 10 blocks. Pay them each time $50. So if it's 2 kids, $25 each. Ultimately, it's going to take them about 2 or 3 hours. And they just hang a door hanger on everybody's door or put it in their mailbox, either or. And then I come back and pick them up. Between that and grandma, it's going to give me another $50,000 to $100,000 worth of additional business that I would not have had. So that, my friends, is how you're going to make your $175,000 in your first year. Okay? So remember, when you're sitting in front of the interviewer and they ask you, how do you know all of this? Because my Uncle David had to pick me up from school. Don't forget that. Now, you might want to change your name from Uncle David to something else because everybody can't say Uncle David. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. Okay, so let me just see if there's anything else I've left out. Yeah, I did that. Okay, I did that, and I did that. Okay. So basically, as you can see to my senior people, I'm giving you the cheat code. The young people already know they're getting it. I'm giving you the cheat code. What I need you to understand is you will see a link from my bio, my ebook. I would suggest as many of you who can afford to buy it, it's cheap, but as many of you who can afford to buy it, you should buy it, read the story, because it will help you. It will definitely help you on so many levels. As you can see, I'm giving you information as I go, and I'm going from different arenas. So I was talking about the pest industry, but I also gave you some financials in terms of your 401k, which is a must. And I would also say to you, you should definitely do a Roth IRA every single year. And you should probably be doing some type of insurance, but more on that later. I will be happy to give this information because I want to see everybody prosper. We're getting ready to go through some difficult times. And you need to be specific about what you do. You need to be specific about how you spend money. You need to be mindful of every penny that you spend and how you spend it, because things are getting ready to change in America. As you can see, the changes happening and occurring right in front of your face. And it's called preparation. But in addition to preparation, being mindful of what's going on around you, because we live in a global world. America is just one piece of the world. America's not the entire piece. She's just a piece. And you've got everybody competing. And so if everybody's competing, you've got to be able to be in the game. You can't be in the game if you're doing a minimum labor job. You're not in the game. You're just a pawn. I don't want you to be pawns. I want you to be kings, queens, bishops, knights, playing chess here. And so, rooks. And so I just want everybody to be able to climb another level and make it and be happy. Everybody has a right to be happy, and I want you to be happy. So remember, get off my soapbox. Going forward, the next video, I'm going to teach you the specifics of what you need. So in the next video, you have questions from this video, ask your questions. In the next video, be ready to get down to some serious work. And we should have about at least 5 or 6 videos that we're going to go through. In the interview process, I'm going to make sure you literally have the verbiage for the interview process to where you're on point. And we're going to actually do it in class to where I'm saying to you, what's the answer? What's the answer? I need you to be on point. So be ready. Take care, everybody. Peace.